Donovan Dijak just hit free agency today. He wrote a letter saying that WWE did not even negotiate with him, which I think that if you are trying to sell yourself as a hot commodity, maybe don't say that your previous employer did not even reach out to you to get a contract. I think your price just went down, but that's just me. If I were his agent, I'd probably tell him that I don't do that. But yeah, he is a complete and total free agent. He is free to go anywhere he wants. What do you think of Donovan Dijak's future?
I've always been a fan of his work. Like him and Keith Lee in like the mid teens, right? We're
Yeah,
doing some really cool stuff on the indies and in Ring of Honor. And I like Dijak. And like it's weird that he never really got a chance there, being as talented and as big as he is. Because it's not
big.
like T-Bar couldn't, or like he was T-Bar, I think. Like what am I thinking of? Mace couldn't work, right? Not a very
Yeah,
good worker. Seems like a fun guy, not a very good worker. You know, there's a lot of guys there that get a lot of shots but aren't very good. He is good, right? He has good matches. It's never quite it's weird. It's weird that he's never really had. He's way better than Karrion Kross, who Triple H just loves
just
for
really,
some reason.
really likes that guy. And
Yeah,
I have no idea. Donovan Dijak, he seems like he has everything. I just don't. He just doesn't have it. There's just
neither
something
does
like there's
Karrion Kross.
no Karrion Kross neither. But he is a million times better than Karrion Kross, of course.
Yeah,
But
but that's
but
the thing.
specifically Dijak, he just doesn't have it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like he can do the moves, he can do the matches. He's a big guy. Probably not like a god awful promo, not great. You know what I mean? But there's just something missing from his game, and I honestly don't know what it is. Sometimes people just don't have it.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but there's plenty of people in that company that don't have it. They just
Yeah.
signed Tangaloa for God's sakes.
Well, they
Like,
they signed they signed him for a specific
well,
storyline
I
purpose.
get that, but I
Yeah.
get that. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't find a role in like eight. He's been there for like 7, 8 years for
Yeah.
that
Well,
guy. That's
yeah, I
what's
know. And
weird.
his where do you see him ending up?
I hope he goes to TNA because I think he could actually do something there. Right? If he goes to AEW, there's just too many guys. You get lost in the shuffle. And he's really good. He'll have really good matches. But then what? You know,
Yeah.
there's just not enough room in AEW right now. Like
That
we're got I mean, I really think TNA could be a good or New Japan. Like he's still young enough where he could have do something in New Japan if that's
mm,
what he wanted to do. I think that would be really cool. I would like to see him in either of those places rather than back in WWE. Although maybe TNA won't sign him because like he spoke ill of their sugar daddy,
who did he speak ill of?
WWE.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think there's any heat there. He just said that they didn't.
It
They
might be
didn't.
now.
They, yeah, there might be now. You know what? I don't think the TNA would shy away from Dijak. In fact, Dijak, when he tweeted out his picture, he not only tagged TNA, he tagged Tommy Dreamer, and Tommy Dreamer's bringing him on Busted Open next week,
So
and
he
uh,
gets he's being
and then
smart.
TNA just so happens to be in Philadelphia this weekend, and if and tomorrow is when he hits free agency. Would not shock me to see him go to TNA. A lot of people like Tommy Dreamer; they like to work for him, so that wouldn't shock me. But I don't think he's going to sign with TNA. A lot of guys from WWE and from AEW, they just like to hey, you know what? I'm just going to go get some stuff figured out. I'm gonna work out a character, work out some promos. I'll go work some stuff out in TNA, and then I'll hit the indies, and then maybe I'll go overseas for a little bit, and hopefully they'll take me back. You know what I mean? I see him being one of those guys.
The Mustafa Ali, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. Yeah, yeah. I think that probably is his best bet. I just don't think there's room for him in AEW right now. He's really
no,
good, but I think that he would just get lost in the shuffle. And you made a joke that he just do the yeah, I called it the Malachi Black, where you just have a bunch of good matches at first and then you used to do jobs. Yeah, that's good.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking of Miro when I said that, but I think it's debatable that Miro had really good matches for a while. He did have a few, but
He had a couple, but he hasn't
yeah,
done anything in years. At least Black's on the TV show.
yeah, yeah. But so honestly though, if he and that I was joking, but I think if he did go to AEW, it would be a pretty similar situation to what he's facing right now.
I agree. Why should he go
They
there?
got so many talented people that are way more famous than him, and he I don't think he has anything that would set himself apart in that company. At least if TNA, it's a small company. There's an upper trajectory. He'd be middle upper card. He's not going to be the champion there. He's he. I don't think he's got like main event champion even in TNA. I could see him being like the champion in MLW or something like that, and or carrying like different indie titles around the indie federations. But look, if he goes to New Japan, look, he's not gonna be champion there. Hold on. King of the North actually had a good suggestion here. We got to text our buddy about this one. Said TNA and do some shots with Noah. I think that would be cool if he went and did some shots with Noah.
That's actually a great fit.
I think it is a great fit. He's probably, he's 36. He's a little young for Noah. Honestly, no, I'm just kidding. No, Kaito Kiyomiya got the number 1 30 under 30 from the Voices of Wrestling. So
Kaito's good.
Yeah. So the biggest, youngest star happens to be there in pro wrestling. No, but he I think that if he did go to TNA, and I'll probably talk about it this weekend on Brace for Impact, I think he would probably do well there, and people just like the guy.
Dude, you can't tell me that Dijak and Moose wouldn't be fun to watch, or that Dijak and Macklin wouldn't be great matches, right? Like I think it would work really well, to be honest with you. I'd much rather see him in TNA than in MLW.
Well, yeah. Well, I would like that because I have a TNA podcast. But I was talking to my cousin Joe, because cousin Joe is like huge WWE guy, right?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, he goes, man, I can't believe WWE couldn't figure it out with Dijak. And I was just like, look, if there's something, if you're there for 7 years and you can't get over, it might not be WWE. It's like, there might be something going on with him. But guess who else was in WWE for 7 years and didn't get over? Macklin, and he's done a great job in TNA.
That's true.
He's one of my favorite parts about TNA. In fact, every time he loses, I get pissed about it. So if he comes over, he better have his promo boots on or whatever. He better learn how to work some promos, and he better be ready to go, because they got some hungry guys there that are really looking to make name for themselves so they can go back to the Fed and get hired. And that's what you do when you go to TNA. You try to rebuild and rebrand.
Matt Hardy. By the way, I liked your whole thing this week about the TNA, the AEW didn't value the Hardys.
That was what Matt Hardy said. So that's why I put it on the headline. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But I got some heat for that, but if you listen to what I said in the video, I said the reason why AEW didn't value the Hardys is because Jeff Hardy got a DUI in the beginning of their run.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back and he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
The injury was not his fault. That was dipshit Guevara. But he got injured right when he got back. So of course they didn't value them. But guess what? They're both shot at this point. I think Jeff every once in a while can still have a good match with the right opponent. They're both shot at this point. The only people that are going to value them are TNA, because TNA is in the position to where the Hardys are valuable to them.
Matt Hardy is not a kind of guy who takes a lot of culpability with his own limitations and faults. He very much likes to, everybody else is against me. People are this and that, and it doesn't. It's the theme. It's very much a theme.
To his credit, I did watch his video, and he was very complimentary of AEW, and he did say that Jeff got the DUI and that derailed what we had planned there. But he said that AEW is focused on having really good matches, and I think he knows that he can't have those good matches anymore, which is why he was pushed out. He goes, I create moments, what they want is really good matches. I think they want both, and unfortunately, you can't do the great matches anymore.
Matt, what I mean, are we going to really pretend that Matt Hardy didn't get a ton of shots to do lots of different stuff in AEW? He came over with his broken Matt character, and the fan base shit on it.
It didn't fit. It didn't fit. No.
So then they let him be big money Matt, then they let him be all 10 versions of Matt Hardy, and the only one that got over is the Hardy Boys, and they self-destructed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, it's very, like I said, very easy to do a lot of this and not realize that you have culpability too. He wasn't making moments. Matt Hardy hasn't made a moment in 20 years. I mean, okay, I'll give him the broken Hardy stuff, but I mean, that only could have worked in time and a place.
Yeah. I think the Hardys are good for some short-term nostalgia.
I agree.
Jeff Hardy's return to TNA was awesome. Yeah. That moment was fantastic. And I like them in TNA because TNA is in the position to where the Hardys are valuable.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
if anywhere else they go, they're not going to be that valuable, and they're not on contracts. And now that NXT and TNA are working together, I wouldn't be too crazy to see the Hardys pop up in NXT and do a shot here and there. Yeah. So, but I happen to like the Hardys in TNA. I think that it's been mostly enjoyed. In fact, I liked Moose and Matt Hardy in the main event a couple weeks ago against Oz. They had a really fun match. And I think Matt Hardy speared Rebby Hardy through a table, and that made me laugh. So there you go. I dug the match. Well, hey guys, we were gonna do a Forbidden Door preview, but we're right at the time. I do have to cut out, so I do apologize for that. So we got 2 minutes left. So Antonio Baker says, I'd rather they're gonna be a super show between TNA and WWE. Brother, I don't think that's going to happen. I think what the TNA and NXT relationship is exactly what it is right now, which I happen to be fine with. I don't think we want them to have a super show where NXT goes 9-0 on TNA and TNA's veteran stars who are established guys in the business for a long time having to put over green kids out of wrestling school. I don't think that's the way to go. I think what they're doing right now is perfectly fine. I don't think that you want to get them too close, because if they get too close, then they will kill TNA.
Yep. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And WWE, because they're never going to do WWE TNA, because then you'd be putting TNA in the same level as WWE, which
you know what? But that makes total sense to me at this point, because a lot of people shit on the AEW TNA relationship because a lot of AEW fans was like, TNA is so far beneath AEW, we didn't want these guys on our show, right? And even if you could say maybe Tony Khan was shitting on their product, that was TNA's fault. They allowed it to happen. They never got the heat back, and that sucks. But weird. a lot of why that relationship went bad is because AEW fans were snubbing their nose at TNA. Right now, NXT and TNA, mutually beneficial relationship. TNA likes the fact that their people are getting exposure, whatever that means these days. Joe Hendry had 15 million views on that YouTube video the other day. So they like the fact that their name is being said and getting all that exposure. What it leads to, who knows? And you know what? NXT is creating a little bit of buzz by having outsiders on their show, and it's made them kind of a cool thing. I think that right now it's mutually beneficial at this point. Let's keep it that way.
Don't expect any more than what you're getting, is what we're saying.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys. That is going to do it for us this week. Stay tuned for Who Killed WCW episode 4. JD and I will be all over that. We're going to be dropping that this weekend. And then, of course, I'll be live on Saturday morning doing Brace for Impact on patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. If you guys got TNA questions, bring them to me on Saturday, man. We'll talk about it. All right, guys. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to